In the eastern Horn of Africa sits the country of Somalia, long regarded by many people as one of, if not the most dangerous state for visiting. The country is very well known for failing to deal with the countless terrorist groups, warlords and even armed pirates in the country, which has left the country in ruins and its citizens in an awful situation. However, in the very north of the country lies an unlikely disputed nation that is well known for its relative peacefulness, friendly people and its non-recognition from anyone. Yep, that's right, no country recognises Somaliland despite the situation being very different from war-torn Somalia. So why? Why is Somaliland not recognised, and how did this situation happen? Well, to understand the current situation, we need to go back to 1887, when the British took over most of what we now call Somaliland, making it a protectorate. However, many tribes continued to resist this foreign invader. This would last up until roughly 1920, when the territory would fully be pacified and brought completely under British rule. Meanwhile, across the rest of modern-day Somalia, a different foreign European power was taking over, Italy. It would establish Italian Somaliland in 1889. From then on, the territory would be used as a launching pad for Italy to invade Abyssinia, along with its other territory, Eritrea, forming Italian East Africa. This would mean that the sizable amount of ethnic Somalis in Abyssinia, now Ethiopia, were all united. However, in 1939, World War II broke out and Italy originally declared neutrality before joining Germany the following year against the British. This would cause heavy fighting with the British, and eventually the Italians conquered British Somaliland, annexing it into Italian East Africa. However, a year later, the British struck back, defeating the Italians and taking over both Somalilands again. However, under military occupation this time. From there, up until 1950, then the southern part of Somalia was handed back to Italy on the condition that Italy, under UN administration, would help the southern part of Somalia gain independence in a decade. From where the north would gain independence from the British on the 26th of June 1960, and a few days later on the 1st of July 1960, so did the southern part of Somalia. In its brief independence between this period, it would be recognised by 35 different countries, including the UK, before deciding to officially join with the former Italian part to form the Somali Republic, although the northern part would be autonomous. The new union was, however, an unhappy one, and after the Somali government in Mogadishu introduced a new constitution for the whole country, the Somalis in the north became disillusioned with the union, and a small brief uprising amongst junior officers would be quickly crushed by the central government in 1961. In 1969, the president was assassinated by his own bodyguards, and what followed was a military coup brought on by the army commander Said Barre, who became the new president of Somalia. He would make the country a one-party communist dictatorship. Strongly wishing to centralise the country, he would decide to remove Somaliland's autonomy, making it a proper part of Somalia. This would gain him the support of the Soviet Union and other communist countries. However, his regime continued to be mainly unpopular among his fellow countrymen, but especially in the north, as they now felt that they were being dominated by the southern Somali part of the country, and now with no autonomy, most didn't want to stay as a part of Somalia. Furthermore, Said Barre aggressively stamped out all forms of opposition and showed little regard for northern Somali culture. Wanting to rally the population around nationalism, he would decide to invade neighbouring communist Ethiopia without telling his Soviet and other communist allies, as many ethnic Somalis lived in Ethiopia, so he believed if he could win the war, he would be celebrated among his population for uniting all Somalis in neighbouring Ethiopia into his Somalia. What followed was the Ogaden War from 1977 to 1978, in which Somalia would invade the Ogaden region of eastern Ethiopia to help separatists that wanted to unify the two. He would then achieve initial success against the Ethiopians before being defeated, as his former communist allies were enraged at the Somalis for doing this, and so they sent thousands of Soviet and Cuban troops to help the Ethiopians, eventually pushing the Somalis back to the border by 1978. Outraged at this humiliating defeat, opposition Somali groups and many separatists in the north would launch uprisings against his government, and the central government in Mogadishu responded with brutal force, bombing the now capital city of Somaliland, Hargeisa, so much that around 90% of the entire city lay in ruins by the end of the campaign. But by 1991, the various opposition groups which had backing from Ethiopia for revenge for that war a few years prior had captured Mogadishu, the Somali capital, ousting Said Barre, forcing him to flee first to Kenya and then Nigeria. From there, Somalia descended into chaos and anarchy, and the Northerners decided it was time to declare independence, or as many Somalilanders would say, reclaim their independence. From then on, Somaliland would fight a few minor skirmish battles with the neighbouring Somaliland region of Puntland over the disputed border. But other than that, Somaliland has remained relatively peaceful, so now we understand why this country exists. But the question now is, why has nobody recognised the territory? I mean, it has everything any other regular country has. It has its own currency, government free of foreign influence, police force, military, and it has a defined territory. Well, there's two main reasons for this. The first is African borders. If Somaliland can break away, surely other areas of other European-made African borders could be changed as well. The second and final reason is if a country voluntarily joins with another country, it doesn't have the right to regain independence, and so countries wouldn't want to disrespect the territorial integrity of Somalia. It's unlikely that the Somali government will allow it to secede, as the country is still in a civil war, and therefore the Somali government is too busy to discuss the issue. A video which I might make another day. For now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I find Africa just as fascinating as Europe and Asia, and so I thought I should do a video on one of its ongoing conflicts. I plan on maybe doing another African conflict like in Libya, or maybe the Western Sahara-Morocco conflict. So please do subscribe if you want more videos like these, and as always, thank you for watching this video.